So today on this beginner series of Final Cut Pro X version 10.3, I'm going to show you how to create XML files and to transfer them from one device to another. So the first thing that I needed to make sure had happened before I'm even going through the process of generating XML files is that I have two devices. So this device here, I have got projects, I've got libraries, and I've got these source files, and these are the files I need to make sure are also on my other hard drive, the one I'm going to begin working from. So on this device I've already done this because it's quite a time consuming process, so I've copied this folder, which is my MD60331 folder, onto this device. So I've got all of my original source files ready to go. So I'm going to go into my folder and open up my demo library, generate a couple of XML files. Just open up Final Cut, make sure we've got the correct one opened up, demo library, and I'm going to full screen this so I can see it fully. So when you're generating an XML file, it's from a project, so it's from one of these projects that we have here. So I've got my festival one, I'm going to do this one, and also one of my aerial ones. And what your project is, until it's a final video, which it isn't yet, it's just a series of instructions for Final Cut. So all of these cuts that you're making, they're not final finished videos yet, and they won't be until you export it. So until you give the instructions to Final Cut to reassemble and to apply all these effects to your video, it's currently just a set of instructions. So when you export an XML file, it's basically just you taking that set of instructions, putting it in a file, and bringing that into a new device so that it knows how to reassemble the videos when you bring them in. So I have this body and sold promo that I'm going to want to reassemble. So I'm going to do File, down to Export XML. So when you do this, you have to make sure that this project is open, so that you've selected the one that you want to export. So File, Export XML. It's quite a simple process. Then you have to decide where you want it to go. So I've got my Lacy hard drive here. I want it to be applied within this folder. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to put it into my festival folder so that I know it's along with what I've created. Body and sold promo is absolutely fine. Current version, general metadata is absolutely fine if you want to increase the amount of information that transfers over. But for what we're working with, that will be absolutely grand. I'm going to click save. And it does not take long at all. If I go over to my hard drive now, so this is my other hard drive, into the new one I'm going to work with, and into my festival folder, I've now got my XML body and sold promo. So it's my set of instructions. This is how those videos are going to be reassembled. I'm going to do the same thing with my aerial one, just with one of them. So let's go with the promo. Actually, I'll just go with the aerial project. So the aerial project is just a multicam. So we'll go to File, Export XML, aerial multicam, just for the sake. And I'll put that in a different folder. So let's put that in with my aerial footage and save. So again, that particular process does not take too long, unlike all the copying over, which can be quite time consuming. So I've now got my aerial multicam XML file. So what I'm going to do now then is quit Final Cut Pro completely to take this hard drive, and I'm going to eject it because I don't want it to be present for when I'm working on my new video. So it's completely gone. So the original source files for those videos are not there anymore. So working with what you would be working with, which is your new hard drive or your new device, and your new XML files. So I'm going to create these here. So the first thing I think that you can just kind of import it directly, but what we want to do is we want to actually create a new library on this hard drive so that you can actually work with it here. So I'm going to go back into Final Cut, and I'm going to wait for this to open here. This is just we close this library. These are just generated on the computer itself, which is not what we want. So we want to create a new library on this new hard drive that we're going to work with. I might keep it within MD60331, and I'm actually going to call it the same thing so that I know this is just a module code for a project that we're working on. And I'm going to save that within this hard drive here, so I know it's going to come with me too. So I'm going to save that. Per one of our previous videos, I'm going to go up here to modify settings and make sure everything that I have here is all stored within this same hard drive, because there's no point in backups or anything like that going to be on a device that you might not be coming back to. So I'm going to store it within here, choose and click OK. So that's all now stored within that library. And just to confirm, that library now exists within my LAC hard drive. So when I take my device away with me, that's going to be there too. So I've got this new library I'm going to start working within. And what I'm going to do now is just to import these XMLs. So I'm going to go up to File, down to where it says Import, and I'm going to import this XML file here. So let's find these XML files. So the first one here, MD6031, let's go into Aerial, and let's import my Aerial Multicam XML. So if I just take a moment. That's okay, don't worry too much about these. And then I'm going to import the other one, File, Import XML file. I also want my festival one. Import. A similar comment there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I've now got these two projects, these two files. So I've got my aerial project, which we're going to open up into, and you can see it is bright red because it doesn't know where anything is anymore. It doesn't know where any of the source files are. So we're going to tell it, because we have got our source files, they do exist and they are within the folder. So we're going to have to select a couple of these options here, and we're going to source these files. So let's just select this first one that's missing here. And what we need to do is go up to File, down here it says Relink Files. Now we have all these files on our computer, we know that we do because we copied them over originally. So we're going to just work through them one by one. So the first one here is our aerial close-ups. We have to do them individually, they can't all be done at once. And down to where it says Locate Selected. That'll then open up our Finder. Now, again, fortunately it's here already, but just to go through the process, you make sure that you find your device, the folder that it's in, the new folder on the new device that you've got it in, and we want to check the names match. We want the aerial close-ups.mov. This is the one that we want here, aerial close-ups, and then you're going to click Choose. That then it accepts it. If it knows it's the wrong file, it's the wrong length, it's going to not allow you to do that. So because it knows it is the correct one, it has allowed that link to take place. We're going to go to the next one, aerial full, locate selected. Let's go back to that so we know the names are the same. Choose, put aerial master, locate selected, choose, and finally the audio track, locate selected. That's this one here, wickedIron.mp3. Now this process has not completed until you actually put relink files at the bottom. So we're going to relink these files. And now you can see that they have all popped back into place. It now knows where all of those files are. Just add them all down the middle. So you can play all of these exactly as they are. That should also export, no problem. So that's us now got the my XML file is now imported. So we don't actually have the files themselves. But what we can do is re-import those, no problem, from our folder. So if you go back to the import window, it's not the same as relinking the XML, it gets a little bit problematic. We're going to go into these two here, and we're going to go to our aerial folder, and we're going to relink pretty much all the files that we already had there, and we're going to not copy to the library because that's going to copy over our original files. New file in place, and import. So if you want to add anything new to it or make any adjustments to it, all of these files are right back in the folder. Same thing here, importing. We're going to go back to our festival folders, our new festival folder and our new one. And not these ones, I'll have to import those separately. There we go. New files in place. So we have all of our files. And there we are. So we have all of our files right back in place. A couple of our logos still need to be there. Logos, import, and also our audio tracks. So we have pretty much everything that we need to continue to edit with our already installed program. So that's one of the oh, this one here is still missing. I'm not actually sure where that one was from, so I'm okay moving that to trash. And now that we've not got that in there anymore, you can see that our little warning symbols have been removed from our event. So we have everything we need to continue working as we were. Another thing that you can do, another way of importing the media is to open up your folder simultaneously. So you can go up to File, open one of your previous libraries. So let me plug in my old hard drive, and we are going to open library, other, locate. Oh, this just needs some, there we go, it's popped up now. So let's open up my demo library. Okay, so now we have two libraries open from two different devices. So another way that you can get the same information copied over, but you'll still run into the same issues of relinking files when they haven't been copied, is to actually, once you have one library open in one device and one library on another device, you can literally drag, so I'll take this flamenco one that I've got, for example, and I'm just going to drag this and just drop it into this library. And I'm going to copy over all of this. Actually, I might leave the optimizing proxy to work for that for the moment, just the files and the instructions as to what to do with them. And then click OK. And you can see now this is going to take a little bit of time. It needs to transcode, needs to kind of bring over all the waveforms, but there's no actual files to transport, so it shouldn't be too time consuming process. All of my projects, which are essentially all of your XMLs, and all of my instructions as to what files it wants to read, are now sourced within this library. So it's another way of working with it. This process, like I said, does take a little bit of time, so I probably wouldn't be able to actually show you how to relink. But that's another way. So basically, when you come across that same situation, after you've closed Final Cut, you just need to relink the files again in exactly the same way. You can also, if you wanted to, another way would just be to literally take the library. So you can source the library that you've created either on the computer. You'd find that one by just on the desktop at the very top of the computer, which says Go. You go to Home, and then it's going to take you to the source files of the computer itself, and by default the Final Cut Pro libraries end up in movies, and there's, on whatever computer you're on, you'll probably find a series of libraries there. So whatever library it is that you're working on, the problem with this in the situation that I'm currently working on with my students is that if you import the library, you're going to import the entire contents of the library. So you're going to import project files that don't have nothing to do with you. So I would just advise just going with the XML, or just by copying over the project from one library to another, rather than dragging the entire thing in with you. But that's another thing that you can do, is that you can go to the library here, you can source the library that you're working with or that you want, and you can literally drag the library from one device onto another. But again, the library, unless you've been copying your files to library, it's just going to copy the instructions as to what to do with the files as opposed to the files themselves. And largely that's kind of what we want. There's no point in for every single project that you're doing copying files from one to another, because you will just end up eating all of the space in your hard drive and it's completely redundant. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful for you guys for transporting your video files from one project to another. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks very much.